I can see a few familiar faces. So good evening, welcome everyone, and a very, very happy Valentine's Day. Today, of course, the whole month, February is the month of love. I think the whole year and every day is the year of love, is a day to love. But especially Valentine's Day gets celebrated. And I was out in the market today and I could see the malls are full and there's balloons, hearts, everything, everywhere. So I guess they needed one day to remind us even more about love. And I know there are a lot of sessions going on relationships, on how to love, this, that, but we thought, the first and the most important relationship is with us ourselves. And we need to learn to be our own Valentines. And then we can be Valentines for others as well. So I'm very happy and to welcome all of you and to welcome Gautam here with me for this discussion on self-love. So a very quick, why don't we say a very quick hello and see who all are joining from where. I know I can see some familiar names and faces. It'll be lovely to see more videos. But why don't you all put in the chat where you're joining in from and how come you're, attending a session on self-love on Valentine's Day's Eve?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I know some people went on a lunch date. They wanted to be home. So if it's cold or something, then I guess people prefer to be home. But now at least Delhi NCR is not that cold. Oh, wow. We have people from Jaipur. Gautam is there from Jaipur. Coimbatore, Chennai. Great. Goa. My daughter's she's been threatening to fly off to Goa any moment now. That's her go-to place all the time. All right, so let's start. Let's start with a quick, small invocation. Gautam, would you do the invocation? I love the way you do the invocation. So would you do that, and then we'll continue further, please.
Sure. I just copy our teacher, Grandmaster Chocolate Sweet. That's why it's very lovely, I think. Okay, so we'll just close our eyes. If all of you are comfortable, you can just close your eyes. You can connect your tongue to your palate, to the roof of your mouth. Some of you who have done pranic healing, this helps to improve the energy circulation in our body. And you can keep your palms open, or you can put them in front of your heart as you wish. And just silently, mentally, you can repeat with me: to the divine supreme being, to all the great teachers, the spiritual teachers, to all the great ones, to all the spiritual beings, we humbly invoke for your divine blessings, divine guidance. We humbly invoke for your divine love and mercy. Thank you for blessing us with good health, with happiness. Thank you for blessing us with spirituality and prosperity. And thank you for your divine help and protection. Thank you for blessing all of us gathered here today on this special day of love with tremendous inner healing, with greater clarity and understanding of who we are and how to love ourselves, so that we may be able to love our loved ones, our friends, our family, and the whole world. We thank you for the priceless blessings and the inspiration. In full faith, we thank you. Now just be aware of the presence of everyone here in this session. Be aware that you're part of a group of people, even though physically we're in our homes, but on the energy level, we're all together, we're all connected, one group. And mentally, you can just say namaste, everyone. And to my co-trainer, Nina, Atma Namaste, and to everyone, Atma Namaste. All right, I hand over to Nina to start the session. You're muted, yeah.
Thank you, Gautam. That's a very common thing that we say these days, no, you are muted. Very, very common. I think the most common statement on Zoom. All right, so let's start. What exactly? So what are we going to do? By the way, this is going to be an interactive session. We are just here to talk, share some views, take questions if you have, listen to your views. It's not a formal session. we just decided to have this talk also because the last few weeks I was doing a couple of sessions and I kept getting this question quite often. And also as a counselor, I see, people come and say, I'm having this problem in life, I'm having that problem in life. And a lot of times, though self care and self love should be the first priority, oftentimes we actually shift it to the last priority. And a lot of people also have this guilt that, if you care too much about yourself, isn't that being selfish? So I'm going to really start off first by defining what I know psychologically and from the point of view of psychology and everything is self-love. And then I will use a quote of what Master Chua says about self-love. So basically, they say that self-love is a state where you learn to really appreciate and value yourself and do things that basically support and help us to grow physically, psychologically, spiritually, and stay in a constant state of well being and happiness. So it means taking care of oneself, learning to say no at times, not sacrificing your own well being to please others. You may take care of others, but you do not sacrifice your own well being just to be a people pleaser. Now, of course, self love can mean different things to different people, but basically, it is a space where you stay happy and you appreciate yourself all the time. Master Choa, in fact, goes on to differentiate, just to answer the question that I've been sent so many times about being selfish. He actually goes on to differentiate healthy self interest from selfishness. And in a very simple manner, and Gautam, you add to it if you want to, what I understood is selfishness is where I win, you lose. Whereas healthy self interest is simply I win, you win, we all win. It's a win win situation, simply put. And to be able to be in a win win situation, we need to really be able to understand the difference. Sometimes it's a thin line, but it's not so difficult. So I think when you really talk about self-love, and there's lots of stuff now on the internet, on books, it's not just about affirmations. It's truly feeling it in the core of your heart. And I like to ask people, whenever we do this exercise, I like to ask people, just ask yourself, what do you need? What is it that you truly want and what do you truly need? Follow the heart. Your heart will not lie to you. The first thing that comes into your mind, the moment you say, okay, what is it that I really want in this moment? And without thinking too much, you'll see certain answers will come up. Within 5 seconds, for some of you, for some of us, it's happened with me also, the brain will start saying, not this, maybe that. But you pay attention to the thing that comes to your mind in the first 5 seconds. What is it that I want? What will make me happy? Am I truly happy? Okay. So Gautam, would you like to add?
So I think that's a very, very important way that you've put it, to differentiate between self-love and, overly being concerned with the needs of others. And just to share my experience, traveling around the world, I noticed that you can see this difference in different cultures. It seems to be that people are on the extremes. There are sometimes people who are very selfish, who seem to only think of their convenience, at the times not really caring about what the other person wants or needs. But then in some places, it's the opposite, where it's always about the others and we ignore ourselves. And I think, if I could say this, that, I think in India, we are very loving people. We always say, example, a very simple thing. We say, Bhagwan mehman hota hai. Yeah. But if you go to some countries, if you're a mehman after 8 p.m., they're not going to open the door for you. It's their bedtime, over. So very different, Whereas over here, if you've got a friend who will come at maybe 10 o'clock and they're late, and you will still open up, you'll give them food, you'll take care. Now, both are good in their own way. But I think what we have to do is find a balance. And that's really important. And many times, because of our culture, and many of us are loving people, caring people, we always extend that love to others, but not in the same measure to ourselves. And the sad thing is, when we keep doing that without realizing it, we are actually depriving ourselves, and we start to develop what is sometimes known as poor self-esteem, because we subconsciously think that we don't deserve the same as others deserve. They are more important than us. That's why if they need something, we run out to help them. So being generous is good. Being helpful is very good. It's a good quality. But as Nina said, it can be both ways as well. You can also take care of yourself at the same time being loving to others. So finding that balance is really important. And I think that's why we're focusing on talking about the self-love part, because looking at the faces we see here, I mean, I think most of us over here, we're very loving people, you know. We know some of you personally, and you're wonderful people. Somebody will call you up and you're always there to help, you're always there to take care, you're there to heal. But are you healing yourself when you need it, or are you healing other people most of the time? So that is something to think about, and I think that's what the talk is going to be focusing on, maybe cultivating more of the self-love part. Yeah. And so that's what I just like to share, that in some countries it's very different, in some cultures it's very, very different.
In fact, it'll
Which is
be
very
very,
interesting to see.
very interesting to see what people think over here about self-love. And the next question, which is I'm already moving ahead, is first, we'd like to know, what do you think about self-love? Two, do you really think you practice self-love? And if you do that, how do you practice self-love? So you can put it in the chat. You can unmute yourself if you want. If we were to ask you in just maybe 3 words, 4 words, what is self-love?
Pampering yourself in salon.
Pampering yourself in the salon. Okay, that's one way of doing it.
Yes.
Taking care of ourselves, our body.
Taking care of ourselves and our bodies. Perfect.
Eating what you love.
Sorry?
Eating what you love.
Eating what you love. Okay, we are both foodies here, so we totally resonate with that. Sleeping on time. We can't give love when our cup is empty. Self-love to me is accepting ourselves the way we are. Perfect. Very nice.
Yeah, I think telling yourself that I am awesome, no matter what I do for myself or for somebody else, I am awesome.
I'm awesome. Being easy on yourself when times get tough, positive emotions. Great. Now, why do we need self-love? Why do we need it? What is the need for it? And by the way, are there some perfectionists here? Anyone who feels I'm not good enough?
So we need it to so that we do not get lost in all the livelihood chores we face in day-to-day life.
Okay.
I look at self-love as having self-compassion and self-acceptance, absolute total acceptance of yourself. And then we need that because I think it allows us to truly give and make contributions to others in our lives, and it's not a depletion of us. We can do it because we have it to give.
Absolutely right. That's great. So actually, for a lot of people, they think self-love is just a luxury. I've actually had someone come and say, I don't have the time for it. You don't understand. I have this to do, that to do. I have so many responsibilities to take care of. And the one thing that I asked them was, how are you going to take care of those responsibilities if you yourself are not going to be healthy? Your family will need to take care of you. And then what? Oh, but so I think a lot of us are from here from India. And I know the bygone era of movies that, put the man and the woman in that position where you had to just sacrifice. And in the process, sometimes you get burnt out. Also, I think the problem happens is when we are catering too much to what others expect from us. And we don't care about what are we expecting from ourselves. If you're perfectionists, we expect too much from ourselves. So I have another question here for everyone. Does everyone look at the mirror in the morning? Yes or no? Okay. Yes. Now, the first thing that you see in the mirror, what is the reaction? Do you start looking at yourself and saying, the nose could have been better, hair could have been better, or why do I have this spot here? Or do you look at yourself in the morning and say, wow, who's this beautiful person in front of me? Let's be honest, a lot of us tend to criticize ourselves. If you do that, you should already be patting yourself on the back. If you look at yourself in the mirror and say the best good morning or happy morning, or truly tell yourself, hey, I love you. That's a great, great practice to start. But a lot of us don't do that. When we look in the mirror, in fact, do we look at ourselves in the mirror, truly look us at ourselves? So I share this example often. You know, if you move out of your house every day and you have this neighbor and he or she looks at you, and the moment he looks at you, he makes a face. How often will you want to, how nice will you feel if the person makes a face? In fact, I know some of us who will take great pains to avoid seeing that neighbor, or they'll say, hey, I saw the wrong face early in the morning. Yeah. But what if you step out of your house and this person gives you the most beautiful smile, gives you a compliment, and you know it's a genuine compliment? How will you feel about that person? I think most of us will say, you will tend to like that person, especially if you know it's a genuine compliment. It's a genuine smile. You know how children sometimes greet us. When we look in the mirror and when we greet ourselves, we are actually, what I read is, greeting 3 billion cells. Each cell in our body is like a little being. So when we say something nice to ourselves, we are sending a message to 3 billion cells in our body and making them happy. And that already is releasing happy hormones, as they say. And we know when we feel happy, actually the blood chemistry changes and the whole being gets full of love. So one practice that if you're not doing already, if you're doing it, it's super. If you're not doing it, start practicing this. Whenever you look at yourself, I get reminded also of Reggie Mantle from the Archie's comics. You know, he'd look at the mirror every time and say, I'm awesome. Or he'd say something nice to himself. Remember? Okay, fine. That was maybe narcissism, but I'm not saying become narcissistic. But I think it's a good thing to learn. And at least every time you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, hey, who's that awesome person? I am awesome. I am super. I am beautiful. It's a good thing to say that to yourself gently. And if you do it regularly, you will see how the body starts responding to it. So practicing self-love is important actually to keep ourselves healthy physically, emotionally, mentally. It starts from there. I think every action that we do or don't do stems from understanding that we need to love ourselves. Right? Gautam?
Yeah, I mean, that's very insightful. I think when I see myself in the morning in the mirror, I'm having a bad hair day, it's more like, ah, then I realize, okay, who's that in the mirror over there? It's Gautam. Okay. Then I start to say, okay, yeah, you're the cool guy. But it's very true. I think, you know, when I was reflecting on what Nina was saying, I realized that, yeah, it's true. We don't often appreciate ourselves. We don't often compliment ourselves. It's when I think of looking at myself in the mirror, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to even look at yourself for a prolonged period of time. You know, so that is something definitely to reflect on. And I was also trying to think, by the way, how many of you are Hatha yogis over here? Have taken our Hatha yoga already? If you could raise your virtual hand, or if your camera is switched off and you're raising your physical hand, we're not clairvoyant yet, so we can't see through. So please, all right, wonderful. And how many of you have taken pranic healing already? Any of the pranic healing courses? Just so we know. You can also raise your hands. Oh, wow, a lot of you. Okay, wonderful. All right, so then I'll share another perspective as well. Something that was just came to me as Nina was sharing. I was trying to think about self-love, and honestly, this is something that I have not been very good with in my life, because it's always been, as Nina said, you know, you have to get going, you have to do things, and sometimes at the cost of putting yourself on the lower level of priority. And in fact, I think this December was probably one of the first times in my life that I consciously took a break, and said a holiday. I'm not doing anything, no work messages, nothing, just for myself, just to chill, essentially watch TV. And it felt really good. It felt really good. Now, when I was trying to think about why, I'm trying to find ways to inspire myself to practice self-love, and go deeper than just taking care of your body because you feel good and all of that. Because the rationalization for me is, if I have to take care of my body so I can do more service. So that's, again, it's not, is it really for me or is it for helping somebody else? Then I was thinking, okay, you know what? I have to eat healthy, once again, to be fit and healthy so I can help other people. Okay. Then I have to meditate regularly to have a bigger spiritual cord, to have a bigger aura. Why? So I can do more healing, do more teaching. So once again, it's swinging back to somebody else. So I was then often we also have this guilt that, if you're on the spiritual path, you want to spend time making money, but then it's like, okay, I'm making money so I can do more tithing. So that's when I started to reflect, but it shouldn't always be like that. And are we really practicing truly self-love if it's motivated by the desire to always help someone else and not for ourselves? So I was trying to think about, how can I inspire myself to take care of myself just for myself? And that's when I sort of realized that it takes me back to the question of, what do we mean by the self? If we're saying self-love, what is the self? And I think unless we truly understand what the self is that we're trying to love, we may not always get to the root of the matter. And this again took me back to what Master Chua shared. And we know this from all the spiritual teachings, that who are we really? What is that self that we are trying to love or take care of? It's not the body. It's not the emotions or the emotional body. It's not the thoughts. It's the soul, the spiritual being. That is the real self. So when I started to realize that that is the real self that I need to love, well, the spiritual being is a child of God. We come from God. Now, isn't God deserving of our love? Of course, God is deserving of our love. And when we hear from different spiritual teachings that, God is present in everyone, well, God is also present in us. So that's when I realized, as an Arhatic yogi, practicing self-love is actually the practice of pillar 1. Some of you who know what pillar 1 is, it's a way of devotion to God, because we are also a child of God, made in the image of God. So if we are always trying to practice loving kindness to people around us, not taking care of us, are we truly mastering the pillar 1 of our Hatha Yoga? So that was a little bit of an inspiration for me, that, it's true. Loving myself just for the sake of loving myself is also a way to spiritually evolve, to grow spiritually, which is one of the ultimate purposes of life. Now, part of that also includes taking care of our different vehicles that help us in this journey of life. It's like you need to get from here to, let's say, Jaipur to Delhi. You need a car. You got to take care of the car. If you don't take care of the car, it's going to make your journey difficult. So by taking care of the car, you're actually taking care of yourself. That's why you take care of your body. For your journey, not for anybody else, for your own journey of life. You have to take care of your emotions, because if your emotions are not taken care of, your journey is going to be difficult, your own personal spiritual journey. So then it came back to me that one of the motivations of taking care of ourselves should also be for ourselves, our own spiritual growth, spiritual realization, and not always to help other people. Now that's a side effect. As Nina said, it's a win-win. When you're happy, when you're healthy, when you're content, when you're in love with yourself, how much can you eventually love yourself? It will spill over, no? It's like your cup is full of love for yourself. It tends to spill over, and then it spills to the people around you as well. And that's why you see that people who really love themselves, it just tends to spread to the people around them. So then for me, that was another way of motivating myself to say, you know what? I need to take care of myself. Why? For myself. Because we're trying to have self-realization. If we don't take care of ourselves, how are you going to have self-realization? Okay. So as much as we are all connected and we are all one, but we also have this individual need of ourselves to grow, to evolve. And that will eventually come when we realize who we are and do something to take care of ourselves. So that's just one of the ways I motivate myself. And it's like the why do I need to take care of myself? So maybe for some Arhatic yogis and pranic healers who are always busy helping other people, this might be another way of looking at taking care of yourself. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that perspective. And in fact, like Master Chua says, love is the food that will make your soul grow. And I think somewhere he's also said that the real cause of psychological ailments is insufficient soul contact. And then he would say love is therapeutic. So it is real love that will make us see things clearly, accurately. So when we start realizing who we are and loving ourselves, knowing who we are, then there is more soul contact. The love aspect will help the soul grow. And of course, like Master says, love is therapeutic. So it helps a person who really, really loves oneself. I think they acknowledge themselves. They don't become invisible. I get a lot of people who say, I don't feel that I'm needed. I don't feel that I'm even seen. You need to see yourself. You need to acknowledge that I'm here and I see me. Then it also helps you realize what you need. So you really have to ask yourself the question, what is it that I want? Even doing service to others, actually, if you look at it from a different point of view, like Gautam said, is actually a need. When I help someone else, they feel good, I feel good. So it actually comes back to making yourself feel good. And that's probably one of the main reasons that we should do it. Not just to make someone else feel good, but I'm feeling really tired and unhappy and restless. I'm saying yes, but I actually mean no, because what will others say? We have to do what we want to do because it makes us feel good. Also, I think when you really start appreciating who you are and seeing yourself, like Master says, it helps you see things clearly. You can step back and look at others looking at you and saying, is that really who I am? Or that's just their perspective. I'm not really this person. I'm somebody else. I know me. And that gives us a kind of, a caring awareness to listen to ourselves first, to acknowledge who we are. Now, how do you practice self-love? Of course, a lot of people gave us examples here, going to the salon, eating what you want, all that is there. Actually, you can practice self-love on different levels. A lot of us here are from the school, and we know that we are not just the body. We have an energy body, we have an emotional body, we have a mental body, we have a spiritual body. So how do you practice love for yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? Of course, etherically. And can someone give us some of the examples? How do we love ourselves? That's the question Nagalakshmi has asked, but that's exactly what I'm saying. How do you think you can love yourself? Let's start with energetically, emotionally. How would you practice love?
Massaging your chakras.
Meditating and cleansing. Massaging the body would also be physical.
What about massaging your
physical love? Exercising would be a form of physical love. What else? Something that gives us satisfaction by blessing, regular self-healing. So yeah, talking about just healing, for example, I think one of the best ways to take care of ourselves is to make sure that we stay healthy. That is not only a way of practicing self-love to myself for me, it is really a way of practicing love to others as well, especially our family members. Because if I'm healthy, I can take care of my family members. Not just that I can take care of them. I'm not a nuisance. I'm not a trouble to anyone else if I'm healthy. If I'm unhealthy, and especially for a very long time, then I need help. And then, of course, it takes time and effort from others who care about me to give me that help. We all know that if someone in the house is unwell, you can't truly be happy because you're worried. Very true, forgiving ourselves for our mistakes. We have to be more forgiving towards ourselves. I think like we clean our bodies physically every day, we need to clean our bodies energetically, emotionally, and make sure that we don't bring in what is not needed. So whatever we go through during the day, you kind of just hang it outside and say, okay, fine, that belongs to the day. I'm not taking it with me to bed. So that's one way. Gautam, how else would you suggest that we can, towards the end, if we have time, we can take some questions and we can do a short self-love meditation. But what other ideas do you think work?
See, I think that one of the biggest mistakes that people often make, and I've noticed this with a lot of people, is you see, everybody wants to be loved. Yeah. Whether we know it or not, everybody wants to be loved. Everybody likes to feel good. But the problem is many people, they tend to depend on external sources to feel good, to feel love. If this person doesn't appreciate me, I don't feel so good about it. Or if that person doesn't acknowledge me, or person doesn't say I love you, you don't feel so good about it. And often it could to a certain extent, maybe I'm not an expert, but trace back to the fact that it's lacking within us. Whereas if it's sufficiently within us, then whether we get that external, certain times it doesn't bother us so much. We don't go into unhappiness, depression, and all of that. So how can we ensure that we are doing things on a regular basis to make ourselves feel fulfilled and have that love within our system? So, we spend so much of money, we spend so many resources taking care of our objects, our possessions. I'm sure all of you spend a certain amount of money every month cleaning your house, whether it's in terms of employing someone to clean your house or materials to clean. And many of us do it for our vehicles. We send it for servicing, we get it cleaned out, we do all of that. And somebody was sharing, even going to the salon, some people spend a lot of money beautifying themselves. Now, that is all good. That is all a form of self-love in a way, because as I shared, all these things in a way make us happy. But let's not forget that apart from these things, we also need to take care of the true self, which is the soul and its actual home, which is the body. So we spend so much time to clean the house, but do we really spend that much of time, or in proportion time, to clean the aura, to clean the chakras? That is the question we need to ask. So many of us are pranic healers over here. Many of us know self-pranic healing. How much time do we actually take to do general sweeping for ourselves, to clean out the dirty, diseased energy in the different energy centers, to energize it lovingly, as a way to show yourself that, hey, I care for you. Your health is important to me. My health is important to myself. So that's one way, I think, regularly taking care of your energy body. And of course, I think most of us already know eating right, exercising, also eating wrong sometimes, when you need to feel that you need a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of pizza, and not depriving yourself, finding that balance between taking care of your body, but also allowing it. So I think sometimes we need to, when we deal with ourselves, not that I have any children, but I have experience with taking care of children, we need to sort of treat ourselves a little bit like a child. Like, how would you treat your child? You tell your child, okay, you can have a bit of fun now, but then also you have to be disciplined. So it's a balance, no? You're not overly severe with your child, but you don't also tell your child, do what the hell you want. So it's a balance so that they're also happy, because you love to see your child smiling and happy, right? When you give them a chocolate, but you don't want to see them fall sick. So I think maybe if we need to sometimes treat ourselves how we would treat, let's say, a child, we might be able to find that we are more happy and we are more content with who we are. So that could be one way of looking at it. Yeah. So that's what I'd like to share. And also, just to touch upon very quickly, the forgiveness aspect. For me, self-love is not only about forgiving yourself for your mistakes. Definitely we have to do that. As Master said, nobody's perfect, including us. But for me, forgiving other people is also a form of self-love. Because whether we like it or not, when we don't forgive other people, we suffer more. As simple as that. And I love the way Master Choi explained it. He said, when you don't forgive other people, essentially you're allowing that hurt, pain, energy to get stuck in your aura and chakras. And it actually clogs it up. It clogs up the nadis. And then we have health problems, we have emotional problems, we have psychological problems. And we wonder why. All because somebody else did something stupid, knowingly or unknowingly, to hurt us. Or even sometimes did not even do anything. We just, Master said, imaginary things that might have hurt us. So for me, forgiving other people is actually one of the best ways to love yourself. You might think, hey, I'm forgiving somebody else. Is that not showing love to them? Could be, definitely might be. But before that, it's actually showing love to yourself, because you allow yourself to be unstuck and to move forward. Remember, everyone is on a journey, what we call the journey of life, or the spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it. We cannot move forward if we're stuck in the past. As simple as that. Physically, it's not possible. How is it possible energetically? If one foot is stuck in cement in the ground, you cannot walk, you cannot move forward. Now, unfortunately, most of us, or many of us, we're actually stuck in the past. We're not free. And by the way, that's something I consciously realized from Mastra's self-pranic healing course, the online course. In that course, before he even talks about forgiveness, he first says, we are not free. We're actually stuck. And he goes on to explain how we are stuck. And he actually guides us in a realization and affirmation through his teachings on how to first unstuck yourself before you can actually forgive. Yeah. So I was trying to think of it energetically. Some of you are familiar with the chakras, a little bit about the energy centers. Now, for me, being stuck is in a way connected almost to the lowest chakras. You can't move. Physically, you get stuck. You can't move your body. Emotionally, you get stuck. Your solar plexus chakra is there. Now, to forgive, it's actually opening the heart. But some people find it difficult to open the heart because the lower chakras are so jammed up. It's difficult to open up the heart. You tell them directly, forgive. They say, I can't forgive. Why? They're still stuck. So the awareness of how to get unstuck before you can actually move up to the heart chakra, eventually to the crown, was an eye-opener for me in that particular case. So I think forgiveness, letting go of the past, moving on, is one of the best ways that we can actually show ourselves true self-love. Yeah. And of course, I'm sure there are more things on the mental and spiritual level that Nina will touch upon.
It's absolutely right. In fact, not just, or the way Master teaches it, even in the soul class, I think for me, the realization came in the examples that Master gave in the soul class. And then the self-pranic healing, what I really found, something that I'd not done in other classes as well, was the way he guided us through the forgiveness also. Just the way he takes you through it, it becomes so easy to just release and let go. So I would suggest that if you took a few pointers on how to practice self-love, somebody's asked, how do I practice self-love? I would say, first and foremost, take out some time for yourself. Give yourself a few minutes every day, which are just for you, guilt-free. They're not for the needs of your family, for someone else. They're totally for yourself. Start by looking at yourself in the mirror, saying something nice to you about yourself, becoming aware. Now, again, to be able to practice forgiveness, whether it is towards yourself or towards others, a very important aspect would be to just be aware. What is it that I'm being stuck with? What is it that I'm having trouble forgiving? And then I like to follow how, one of our, for me, he's a mentor also. A lot of us know him, Sri Ram. He keeps on saying, ask questions, ask why. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling stuck? Why am I unable to forgive? What is it that I can do to take the next step forward? Somebody here said, I don't feel good when I appreciate myself. I feel good when somebody else appreciates. That's excellent. Actually, that's just a little bit like how children are. Children look towards others, especially their parents, their role models, to get appreciation, and they do a lot of stuff. That's how we are built psychologically from childhood. Okay, you do this, and you're a good boy and you're a good girl, so you're going to get a chocolate, you're going to get this thing. Why don't you try doing that for yourself? Think of yourself, if somebody comes to you, if your best friend came to you and shared a problem, what is the advice you'd give to your best friend? For a moment, step outside, be your own best friend. So you imagine that you are coming to yourself. What is the first thing you'd say to yourself? I mean, mostly if a friend comes, what do you say? Hey, don't worry. Things are going to be okay. It's all right. You're good at this, you're good at that. Say that to yourself. Be your own best friend. Practice meditations on loving kindness. One of my favorite meditations, and I'm sure many of you know it here, is the meditation on twin hearts. Gautam was just now speaking about releasing the lower chakras, getting unstuck from the lower chakras and opening the heart. The meditation on twin hearts does that automatically for us. It helps us open the twin hearts. Personally, sharing an experience when I came into pranic healing way back, and I think I tried the meditation on twin hearts the first time maybe in 2003. I eventually came into the classes in 2006. But for me, it was an eye-opener, because where Master says, okay, think of a happy moment. And I couldn't think of a single happy moment. And I was still mulling over the first happy moment, and suddenly he goes, think of a second happy moment. And that's when I remember pausing that meditation there and say, hey, wait a minute, I haven't even thought of the first one. And I stopped the meditation there because I said, what? I'm 30 something and I really can't imagine or remember a single happy moment. That's big trouble. So then I started thinking of various happy moments. And before I played the CD again, I remember really trying to write down, this was a happy moment. That was a happy moment. And guess what happened? It was then like a snowball effect. Many, many, many happy moments came from the past. And now, so much so that I look for new happy moments and say, oh, that will be my happy moment in the next twin hours. That is because the heart starts opening. So give yourself time, practice awareness, ask yourself the right questions, forgive, be your own best friend, practice the meditation on twin hearts, practice the meditation on loving kindness. Then, of course, heal yourself. Keep yourself healthy. If you need help, ask for help. I think asking for help is another form of self-love, because sometimes we're too proud. We think, okay, what are they going to think if I ask for help? Hey, I'm supposed to be a healer. I'm supposed to heal others. I can't be asking for help from myself. That's not true. Sometimes we need a break. So find avenues, and when you need help, ask for help. I remember having asked sometimes, I've asked Gotham to heal me once in a while if I've needed it. We do that. So ask for help when you need it. If you're following certain energy practices, if some of you are already in the pranic healing school, I don't think we need to say it, but practice the teachings, use the teachings given by Master Choi. If you've done Arhatic yoga, that's the biggest, I think, self-love practice. You practice the 5 pillars of Arhatic yoga, you are good. If you've done basic pranic healing, you practice the teachings given there. Find avenues to develop your expression of love for yourself. So stand in front of the mirror, act like a child, do something, give yourself permission to do something for yourself every day, if not every day, every week, which is just you, yourself, and nothing else. That would be my 2 bits on how to practice now. How to prioritize yourself is that you take out that time for yourself. That time is your time. They say me time. Nobody else's time. In that time, you do what you want to do. You want to watch Netflix, fine, but then don't let Netflix take over the other's time. You have to practice, you have to schedule, you have to discipline. Disciplining ourselves is also a form of self-love. Having fun, doing things which are totally unplanned is also a form of self-love. There's so many ways.
I think just to add to that, I think one of the ways we can also not only practice self-love, but give us the opportunity to do things for ourselves is set boundaries. A lot of us, maybe we don't know how to say no. And this was, by the way, one of my biggest problems. Biggest problems is I would just not say no. Anybody would ask for something, yes. Anybody would ask for something, yes. And I noticed even in the pandemic, we had so many online sessions, and anybody would ask for a session, I would say yes. Why? Then I would justify it. It's Master Choi's work. We're trying to help people. It's, people want to learn. I enjoy it as well, everything. But then I realized that after a few years of really trying to help and do things, even though I was enjoying it, there came a time where I was not enjoying it. I was getting tired, but I would still say yes, because how do you say no to a person they're requesting you? So that's when I realized that I'm not doing justice, but at the same time, I'm not loving myself. So I had to say, you know what, I'm taking a break, no, for some time, or say, for this time to this time, I'm not available for work communication. So that's where you probably have to set certain boundaries. And when you set those boundaries, you don't have to feel guilty about it. You don't have to feel that you're not helping somebody or you're doing a disservice, because you have the time available for that. You are doing that as well, as long as you're doing that. But you also need to, shut off. And I remember I learned this from an old family friend of ours from Africa. And when he would close off from the office and he would go home, he would switch off his mobile phone. And I used to wonder why, why is he switching off his mobile phone? What if someone has to get in touch with him or message? He said, if they have something important, they'll call me on my landline. Otherwise, I don't want, if it's urgent, it's important, I'm available on the landline. But if they just want to take my time, take my energy just by chatting, I'm not available for that. And now because of the convenience of technology, Don't forget, everything is energy. So if you're always just, think about it. If it's just a message, if it's just this, if it's just that, it's energy that's going. And sometimes we don't realize we deplete ourselves because we're always just sending energy all the time. So maybe drawing boundaries at certain times, saying this is time for me. As Nina said, this is my time, but my time really means my time. Not that it's my time until somebody asks you for your time or asks you for advice or asks you for help. Yeah. So one of the ways you can actually schedule your time, one of the ways is through your practice. So if you meditate, in a way, that is your time. But apart from your meditation, apart from your Arhata Yoga practice, apart from your self-healing, it's also about setting boundaries where you say that from this time to this time, I am not going to engage in external work. Okay. And you might find that you become more productive actually, because you're not getting burnt out, as Nina said. You don't feel that you're always giving without receiving. Yeah. So before we hand over to Nina, I think we should just do a little experiment, because sometimes people with an experiment, things become a little bit clear. And some of you already know this experiment. It's one of Master Cha's favorite experiment. Okay. So I'm going to tell you to do something, and you have to follow exactly my instruction. Okay. You don't do anything else. When I say you do this, you just do that. Okay. And this will give an idea of how many of us function. Yeah. So can you just connect your tongue to your palate? All right. Okay. Yeah. Now I'd like you to exhale slowly. Just exhale. Slowly exhale through your nose. Okay. Hold your breath. Hold your breath. Now exhale a little bit more. Exhale. Hold your breath. Exhale some more. Exhale. 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 Okay. It's not possible, no? Now we don't realize it, but we're doing it with our energy sometimes. We're always busy, giving, looking after other people, doing things over there that we don't have time to inhale. But we also have to realize, how do you inhale? That is the question. Now with your nose, it's very easy. But for yourself, go back to what Master Cha taught. Physically, how do you inhale? Right? Eating properly, healing yourself, giving yourself the life force, the prana, relaxing when you need to, let the body recuperate. Emotionally, how do you feed yourself? One of the best exercises is, as Nina said, look in the mirror, compliment yourself, project a lot of love to yourself. With pranic healing background, bless yourself. Many of us, after our twin hearts meditation, we bless our family, our projects, our this. Do we actually visualize ourselves and bless ourselves? That is a question to ask. That's a way of feeding ourselves, inhaling emotionally. Then, of course, mentally, how do you inhale mentally? One of the ways is learning new things. But to do that, you need time. Many of us don't have time. Why? We're too busy doing other things. So that's where setting the boundaries come in. So if you want to say, read a new book, you've been waiting to read a new book, learn something new, watch a nice documentary, but you're too busy doing other things. You don't realize it. You get tired at night. So setting those boundaries, you say, okay, this is my time now to rest and read. Feed yourself mentally. And spiritually, one of the ways is meditation practice. Attending pranic healing events, Master Cha's courses, because they also feed the soul. So find different ways to inhale also, because when you inhale, then you can exhale. It's a cycle. Master said it's a cycle. You break one end of the cycle, it's just not going to work. Now, physically, we all inhale, but different people in different areas of our life, are we inhaling enough? Maybe some of us are physically inhaling, exercising, taking care, healing, but maybe emotionally, we're just exhaling. So it has to be a balance of both. So maybe we can also look into that. Which areas of my life am I just exhaling? Where can I inhale a little bit more? And when you have that balance, I personally believe that you will be more content with yourself. You would really love yourself more. And as a result of that, then you can love other people. Because as much as we think, I am always loving to other people, you don't love yourself, there's a breaking point that I think will come. Yeah, and I think Nina also has experience in that.
Yeah, and then somebody said rightly, you can't pour from an empty cup. When you have love for yourself, like Gautam also said, it overflows. And that is the love that you're able to easily radiate to other people. Another thing I've seen is that when you do the practices, when you really, we're all energy beings, we're the soul, the body, everything. When the energy in various centers is balanced, when the heart center is open, when, for example, the solar plexus is in control, the other chakras are clean and open. All this that we've spoken about, it kind of just is a natural outcome. You just know when you have to say no. You just know when you have to inhale or exhale. Because when your energy body is balanced, It teaches you to stay in balance. It will actually make it, initially people, let's take the example of a lot of people say, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight. How difficult is it? But if you manage to lose weight, you'll find it much easier to continue to maintain that then. But the initial part is tough. You have to get into that rhythm, you have to get into some kind of discipline. After that, it just becomes a habit. So when you start practicing self-love, it kind of grows in you, becomes a habit. When you balance your energy centers, you just want to stay in that balance effortlessly. And even when we talk about rewiring the brain, we've done a session sometime back. The whole concept of rewiring the brain is this: you have to reach from a stage of effort to effortlessness. So even in self-love, you have to reach, first you start consciously, and then it becomes second nature. Forgiving becomes second nature. Being conscious of your thinking becomes second nature. Being conscious of your time for yourself, for others around you becomes second nature. It just kind of falls into place.
Very true. And just to add something, it's nice when you connect what we're talking about with what's happening in the world today. So I was trying to reflect on, many of us are pranic healers, and there are many courses we haven't done in pranic healing. For example, some of you are basic, advanced, psychotherapy, waiting for Arhatik, waiting for Kriya Shakti. And if you look at the pandemic, I was trying to see, we couldn't do many physical classes, but we had certain online options. Now I was thinking, why those classes online specifically? There are two classes: Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul and Self Pranic Healing over here. Now, when I was thinking, these are the two courses that initially actually focus on yourself. Because you've taken basic pranic healing, you see in basic, we are actually focused on healing others. It's the self-healing just comes right at the end. Yeah. Some of you took the basic last weekend, no? How much time did we spend on self-healing? Just an hour and a half at the end. Even if you come to advanced pranic healing, it's more about we practice healing each other. You come to pranic psychotherapy, once again, it's towards the end, you do self-healing, but you focus first on healing others. So because we're a healing school and these courses are designed to make you healers, but sometimes as healers, we have to realize that apart from being healers, we also need to heal ourselves. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes of pranic healers, especially those who are actively healing, is that they're so busy healing others that they don't take enough time to heal themselves. And it's a fact. And you see pranic healers getting burnt out, getting tired. In fact, Master Chua himself wrote in one of his books that healers, and I loved it when I read this, it gave me, and I think Nina is a true follower of this, and in the right sense, because you see her full of energy. She can work and teach and travel and all of that. And she doesn't seem to, I'm sure she does get tired, but she's found a way by following the teachings. What is that teaching? Master said, you have to take holidays. He said in his book that a healer must.
Every 2 months, by the way.
Every 2 months, take a break, take a vacation. That's what Master said. So that's a fact. Why? We need to allow ourselves the time to regenerate. The body needs to regenerate. You see, our bodies are in the process of degenerating. It's very simple. That's why the body dies. They say from the moment you're born, you're actually starting to die. In one way, the body is degenerating after a certain age. Now the body is degenerating. We want to prolong the body in the right way, bodies in the right way, so that we're able to maximize whatever is this opportunity we have on earth. Because some of you are familiar with the higher teachings of Master Chua, you know that physical birth is a priceless opportunity. The 70, 80 odd years we have here, we want to maximize that because it's not that easily available every time. So to do that, we need to practice self-love because we need to keep our bodies in a healthy state. And that's how we can get the most out of it. So if you think about it, one of the things the pandemic has taught us is the importance of taking care of ourselves. As Nina said, taking care of yourself is a way of loving your family as well, indirectly, even directly. So the two courses of Master Chua that was actually gifted to us in the pandemic was Achieving Oneness with the Higher Soul, which takes care of, in a way, you, the spiritual self, and Self Pranic Healing, which helps you take care of the bodies of the spiritual self. So the two of them put together actually enable you to really be ready to maximize the time you have on planet Earth. So that's why I really recommend even our Hatha yogis and pranic healers reflect on how much time you've actually spent healing yourself. I look at the Self Pranic Healing course as an example, the online course, as even if you've done crystal healing, whatever healing, I look at these 8 hours as 8 hours for yourself. That's it. In these 8 hours, you're not healing anybody else. You're not focusing on anybody else. You're working on yourself physically, through the Tibetans, through the meditations, energetically, through all the deep healing that is done, emotionally, mentally, and also reprogramming your mind, reprogramming your attitude. So for me, it's priceless. And what I have seen with
It's
many
that
pranic healers who attended.
awareness.
Yeah,
It just
it's right.
creates that awareness because you're so focused
Very
on
true.
yourself. And like I said, we don't focus on ourselves in this sense. Many times we are focused on why am I unhappy? So and so has made me unhappy. I've made so and so unhappy. We are not asking ourselves the questions that help us reach the answer. If you ask the same question, you'll probably get the same answer. You ask yourself the relevant questions, you will sometimes find the answers. So take time for yourself. Developing new skills is a great thing, even psychologically speaking. Every time your brain tries something, you do something silly. For example, if you're a right-handed person, try brushing your teeth with the left hand. These are little things. It doesn't have to take too much time. These are little things that you can do, which will challenge your brain, which will open your brain to new things. So a constant learning, absolutely required. A constant also, when you go back over the same classes, I think there's always a new understanding. And I think I love that. So I still enjoy sitting through a basic workshop, for example. I love sitting through the Achieving Oneness workshop. And I've enjoyed every self-healing class that I've done. So every time there's something new that comes up through these workshops, through meeting people. It's 8:27. I had thought we'd do a short. Would you all like to do a short meditation on self-love right now? Just a short one.
Yeah, definitely.
If you'd like to do that, then I invite you to just sit quietly, sit straight, comfortably. If you want to lie down, that's okay as well, though preferably be seated. And close your eyes. It's always nice. Find a comfortable position. And as you close your eyes, try and be aware of how you are feeling. Just be aware. Practice awareness of yourself, of your body. Take a deep breath through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. And continue doing slow deep breathing for a few moments. Breathe in gently. And as you breathe out, exhale out any tension from your body. And focus on relaxing your body from head to toe. Be aware of your head, your eyes, your forehead, your nose. Move downwards. And with every exhalation, picture your body relaxing. Simultaneously, you may just be aware of wherever your body is tense. If your body is tense anywhere, as you exhale, you pay a little more attention to that area and exhale out the tension. Continue breathing slowly. Picture yourself relaxing, especially the parts and the areas in your body that need more relaxation. And with each breath, you see that part becoming a little more relaxed. Feel and imagine what relaxation truly feels like. Soft, calm, light, and let that feeling of relaxation grow from head to toe. Gently telling your body to simply relax. Breathe in relaxation, breathe out the tension, breathe in the calmness. Let go of all that makes you tense. Be aware of your heart. You may put your hands on your heart. You may hug yourself. Your heart is a being of love. Feel the love. And start to make a picture in your mind where you're completely loved. You're completely at ease. You can use your imagination to take you to a beautiful place, your favorite place, wherever you feel happy and calm. You can visualize the sights, the sounds, the smells. That can be your happy place, your haven. It could be next to a waterfall. It could be lying down on the ground, feeling the warmth of the sun, or a cool breeze on your skin. Just enjoy how you feel in this safe place, as you feel safe and calm and at peace. And imagine telling yourself and believing that each of these affirmations are true for you. You may repeat them verbally or mentally. I am at peace with myself. I love who I am. I am worthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to relax. And I embrace these happy feelings, and I embrace being content. I believe that all of this is true for me in this moment, right now. What I have in my energy body is what I will attract more and more of. So I allow love and light and life into each part of my body. And I look forward to the beautiful future that I invite into my life. I look fondly on all my past memories. I forgive myself for my mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. I forgive others too. I feel good about who I am. I accept the person I am, and I am getting better and better in every way, every day. I have the strength to deal with all the challenges that come my way. I have the time, and I put in full effort, and I do my best, knowing that my best does not have to be perfect. I accept my flaws. I nurture the child within me. I feel secure, and I don't feel any need to compare myself to others. I accept myself. I am the best version of myself in this moment, and I get better and better. I feel confident. I feel secure. I feel my love for myself. Each and every cell of my body feels that love. Allow that feeling of love to flow from your heart to each and every cell of your body, and continue to picture yourself enjoying this feeling. Memorize this feeling of love, of being totally relaxed, and for a few minutes, just let go. Gently come back. Let's say a prayer of thanks. We can use the invocation given by our teacher, Master Chua Kok Sui. Lord God, Thank you for blessing me with patience, with tolerance, and the ability to accept myself the way I am. Thank you for blessing me with loving kindness, with compassion and non-violence, not just in action, but also in words and in thoughts. Please help me master this virtue of loving kindness so that what comes out of my mind and my mouth will be kind and wholesome towards myself and to everyone around me. With deep gratitude and in full faith, so be it. You may now open your eyes with a big, big smile.
Thank you, Nina, to took us to heaven.
Thank you, Nina.
You can do your version of this every day when you want.
So relaxed and calm.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a great, great Valentine's Day with yourself, with your loved ones, and make every day a Valentine's Day, I think.
Thank you.
Yes,
and same
thank
to
you so much, Nina. It was a
It was too beautiful.
wonderful experience today
Wonderful
Very
in
beautiful.
this meditation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nina. Very beautiful.
Announcement. Nina and I are taking a class together, self-pranic healing, 1st to 4th March, 2-hour weekdays. So please spread the message to your friends, your family, your loved ones. If they haven't learned pranic healing, they want to learn it, at least to heal themselves, we'll be very happy to teach them. So 1st to 4th March, self-pranic healing, me and Nina. So I'm looking forward to learn from her as well.
I have a question, Gautam.
Yes, ma'am.
How self-healing class is different than what we have learned so far till Arhatic Yoga?
Good question. So what I found to be additional in the self-pranic healing class, apart from the focus of the class, which is more on working on yourself, is, for example, Master Chua in this class formally teaches us a technique of white light meditation, which is not normally taught in a class. So that's one thing that's a little bit different. And for me, one of the biggest takeaways of the class is the 5 Tibetan rites. Not only the practice, which I think many Arhatic yogis know, but the understanding behind why we do each rite, what is the energetic effect, why it's important, and more information on those rites, which is really important. And then for those of you who have not taken, for example, classes like psychic self-defense, there are techniques of cleaning the space around you, which you can immediately apply. That is also taught in this class. And there are certain ways of looking at things which Master Chua has in a way revealed in this class. For example, how affirmations work, and why do they work, and how you can go about implementing it. So as you know, the different courses of Master Chua, like different pieces of the puzzle. Like example, you've learned meditation on twin hearts in the basic class, but you've also learned meditation on twin hearts in the soul, but it's a little bit different in your understanding. Then some of you also learn meditation on twin hearts, even in the Arhatic class, they talk about it. So every course of Master Chua, I think he brings in a different energy and different facet, which brings a certain energy into our system, which inspires us to practice. Like I knew the Tibetan rites for many years. It's only after self-pranic healing I started to practice it almost every single day. I don't know why, but I think I just understood it so much better that I was inspired to practice it, you know? So I found different people, like, for example, my wife, Pratichi, she teaches psychotherapy. And we talk about affirmations in psychotherapy in advance very briefly. It's after the self class that she's actually been practicing Master Chua's affirmations because she understood it, she said, from a very different way. So I think the understanding that Master Chua gives is more from our perspective as self-healing, more than maybe some of the other classes. So that's just my experience that I could share.
And also the meditations that we use there, we don't get them anywhere else, by the way. I would just, yes. We don't use it anywhere else either. We just play it during the workshop. I think the meditations themselves are motivation enough for me to, do the workshop.
Somebody has a question on the chat. Is it a course designed by Master Acharyas? So if I'm not mistaken, this course actually used to exist way back before. So if you look at some of the books of Master Chua, in the list of courses, it's also mentioned pranic self-healing. And I used to wonder long back that what is that? So I think in certain parts of the world where people wanted to focus on self-healing, there was this course which was by Master Chua. So they probably arranged it a bit to make it convenient online, but the essential course substance and even the stories given in the course our Master Choice stories, which he has shared on that. So if I'm not mistaken, the course is Master Choice. We just have it online now because of the current times.
So what we are going to do, by the way, is we've managed to record this session. We'll put up the recording of the session on Gautam's Facebook page on Atmatva, the center that we have here. You'll find it there. You'll also find the links for the workshops there. You can, share the links from there. Of course, they've been shared on WhatsApp groups and all that, or you can just text us and we will share the link with you and you can forward it. So we also have the Soul workshop coming up on the 25th of February. So next week, again, divided into 4 half-day classes. So 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours with a half an hour break in between. And so you can do that as well. Okay, so.
Ma'am, can you put in the chat right now only your WhatsApp group?
You can send a WhatsApp here. Gautam, can you also please put in yours, the WhatsApp number? This is one of the WhatsApp numbers.
Oh, if you're okay sharing yours, that's fine. If there's anything with me.
So just send a WhatsApp here and we'll share the details with you. You can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. You can look for Atmatva. You can look for Pranic Healing, Navi Mumbai. Is that right, Gautam?
Yes. Soham Pranic Healing, Navi Mumbai. Yes, there we go.
Soham Pranic
Healing. So those of you who are in Delhi NCR, these are the centers. We'd be happy to help you. And of course, we keep having sessions. Gautam has a session. I think every Tuesday he does online meditation at 7:30 with a talk. Gautam and Pratichi both. By the way, Pratichi is his better half. Is she around? So
she just finished the meditation.
So Gautam and Pratichi are a wonderful, wonderful couple. So some of you know them, and if you it's always a pleasure to meet them. And so they hold a meditation every Tuesday with a talk which is open to everyone. I hold a meditation every Monday morning and Friday mornings at 7:30, again open to everyone. So you're welcome to join us, and we'd be happy to see you there. So thank you all for joining in. Thanks, Gautam. I know you're very, very busy, and
this is my way of self-love. Spending time with you is a way of showing myself self-love.
I was just wondering when you were saying I couldn't say no, and I was like, no, he does say no.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah. So that's all right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a great Valentine's Day and a great weekend.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.